And good morning, my beautiful America. Welcome back to the All American Book Club. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so honored to be here with you as we are celebrating America 250. We are celebrating Month of the Military Spouse, not just one day, but 1 month. We are focusing on honoring the resilience, which I don't take lightly, and the backbone to this country, the military spouse. And I am honored to bring her to the show for the first time. Kind of surprising to me because I feel like she's always here and always supporting this amazing. Welcome to the show, Monica. I'm so glad to have you here.
Hey, Eden, I am so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Sure. So we've known each other for a long time, and I'm so grateful for what you do in the military spouse community. So, but let's first talk about you. You're an active duty spouse. You're raising two kids, two of our military children, and you are the brains behind helping our undervalued and underemployed spouses become entrepreneurs. How did this all come to be for you?
Whew, that's kind of a loaded question just because there's so much. But
Let's break it down. Let's
I'll
break
give
it
you the
down.
short and easy version. It all stemmed from my own personal frustration and inspiration as a military spouse.
Mhm.
Oftentimes a lot of us share very similar stories, very similar journeys, and it really all goes back to you are so grateful and you are so honored to be a part of this journey, serving beside, our spouse. But at the end of the day, it can be very challenging piecing the puzzle together when you know that you're going to be moving around every 2 to 3 years. So oftentimes military spouses, deal with the challenge of identity. Who am I? How am I going to follow my dreams? How am I going to be able to do something that can support this lifestyle while also being present for our family when they need us most?
What I have seen over the years with just walking alongside the spouse community is both male and female. They have found that they have to give to the spouse that serves and to the family. And then they're basically the last one to get their cups filled, whether it's education, community, just developing in a trade school, just developing their skills. What are things that you have said to them over time where that is, it's a resounding, these are my reasons, but they shouldn't be the excuse as to them to further on.
Yeah, so as we both know, when one person serves, the entire family serves too. So really being able to take what is oftentimes a challenge and turning it into an opportunity. That is my biggest thing that I always am trying to help and support in our community and to continue to shine light on that. Yes, it is very challenging. It is really hard, especially, many of us, including myself, I went into the military life basically after finishing my master's. And I never knew I was gonna, be living the military life, but I ended up getting back together with my high school sweetheart who was commissioning into the Air Force. And I just remember being completely lost of, oh my gosh, who is Monica? What is Monica going to do? She has this, bachelor's degree in multimedia journalism and communications, and now she's got an MBA specializing in business. And while all of that sounds wonderful, Eden, I know you know this firsthand, especially being in the journalism world, is oftentimes you have to, plant your seed somewhere and you have to be able to bloom in that area. You have to build up your network and everything. And so it can become very challenging when maybe you do have the different skill sets, or maybe you're still trying to learn what maybe the skills are that you need to get to where you want to go. Either way, it's just a constant, balancing act
It is.
of what is going to be the right fit, what is going to continue to help me turn a challenge into an opportunity.
Absolutely. When I look at Spousely, and I want you to kind of go into detail about Spousely from the standpoint of the platform that it lends to these different communities. But with your education background, I want to highlight to the spouses who are listening, there are no limits to
Yeah.
education. There are no limits, whether it's trade school, whether it's university, whether it's getting your master's, the sky's the limit. It really
Yes.
is.
And I've got to touch on that really fast because I will say our community is so inspiring because they are always wanting to continue to learn and grow. And that is something that I quickly learned, when I was building Spousely was that I was surrounded by all of these incredible, spouses, veterans, service members, first responder families that were continuously finding ways that they could expand their skill set, whether it was going back for additional education or learning from others. And it's a very, very powerful thing when an entire community is able to see from others that are, helping guide them and lead the
Yeah,
way that if I can do it, you can do it too.
absolutely. So I want to talk about the Spousely platform. And I'm so thankful to authors who came to my show who introduced me to Spousely. So a call out to the powerful book authors that you have on Spousely and kind of give us a walkthrough of if this is their first time going to Spousely, whether they want to purchase something or potentially be an entrepreneur featured on there. What does that look like for them?
Yeah, so really fast, like you had mentioned earlier, Spousely is an online marketplace to shop a wide variety of both products and services, all created by military and first responder families. So all of our vendors are approved military spouses, veterans, Gold Star families, first responders, service members. And it's a really just beautiful platform because it allows our community to come together to support one another through all of the different challenges
Yeah,
that are unique to our community while
yeah,
also providing a one-stop shop for any of those mission-driven consumers that really want their hard-earned dollars to go much further, that want to go beyond saying thank you for your service.
yes,
There's
yeah.
really nothing better than directly putting funds in the pockets of our families by supporting their businesses because it provides flexibility, stability, and most importantly, a creative outlet when needed most. And so it's very easy, on the vendor side, everything is pretty automated now at this point, where basically, if you are military or first responder connected and you have a business and you want to be a part of a like-minded community, you just go on to Spousely, you fill out the application. Once you're approved, they're able to go in and start setting up their shop. All of the vendors are running and managing their own shops on our platform. So just like you said earlier, very similar to Etsy, but
Yes,
yet what we're doing is we're bringing that community, we're bringing that additional marketing, that support, in both life and business, to be honest, just because as we know as business owners,
yes,
it's a constant balance, right? You can't just have support in business. You also have to have support with life and just being there for one another. So I'm very proud of what we've been able to build as a community together. And then, like I said, on the customer side of things, very easy. You don't even have to sign up or anything. You can just go on the platform, search around, buy a candle, buy some
yeah.
coffee, hire a marketing person, hire a CPA, whatever it might be. You're able to really find it in one place, knowing that you're supporting our entire community that has come on board with us.
Have you seen anybody else try and replicate this or do something like this, but it hasn't gotten to that point? Or have you found, loaded question, have you
Yeah.
found that people see you, recognize it, and say, hey, how can we support?
Yes, so Spousely is a little over 6 years old now, and I will say when I first launched it right before the pandemic, there was nothing like it out there. It was really challenging to find a platform that brought in together really both angles, right? Products and services. So we have continued over the past 6 years to maintain truly being a one of a kind platform.
Yeah.
Now, over that time period, we have seen others pop up and try to do something similar. Oftentimes, we see that they're just really not able to make it even past year one because it is a huge
Yes,
undertaking. I mean,
yes,
I
yes,
always just say it's a beast. And I'm not gonna lie, the first, time I have seen that happen, it was really like just like a stab in my heart because,
right.
we're very collaborative. Like I just wish more people that really love our mission and really see the vision, like you said, come to the table, say, "Hey,
Right.
I see that you've already built it," which then is what
Yeah.
actually started to happen as we entered year three and on, is we really have been able to see the magic of others and organizations and companies coming
Mhm.
to us and seeing like, okay, you've made it over 3 years. You guys mean business. You've proved that your mission is viable and impactful. What can we do to help? And that really was a great shift, especially as a founder, because there's nothing worse than you pouring everything into building something from the ground up. Now, I'm a big believer that there's enough room out there for all of us to be able to build what we want to build. But I'm a even bigger believer on collaboration. And I think that that truly is what can continue serving and supporting, especially our community in such a dynamic way.
I sit here and think about there's what, nearly 1 million military spouses.
Yep. There's
Is it
fun
more than that?
fact, it's way more than that.
Okay.
So the Military Spouse Chamber of Commerce has a stat that there are over 12 million military spouses between active duty and veteran families, and there 48% of them aspire to be a small business owner
Right.
or are a small business owner, which I think is just mind blowing. That just shows
It
you
is mind blowing. Yes.
it just shows you that entrepreneurship truly is a bridge
Mhm.
between doing what you love and living a life on the go.
Absolutely. I'm glad you raised those stats because they are not readily available.
Yeah.
They're not out there for the public to know. And with you bringing that up, we really want, with this show airing in Washington, D.C., we want to raise that calling card to say, hey, elected leaders,
Yep.
knock, knock. There are how many different entrepreneurs who are military spouses, veteran spouses, who dutifully and selflessly serve this nation. We have got to raise the bar for them when it comes to having more opportunities in the public square.
Yeah.
Really, that's really what it comes down to.
I could not agree more, which is why, there's so many of us out there doing the work. We are
Mhm.
literally rolling up our sleeves. We are building from the ground up. We are investing our own dollars, our own time into creating the solutions that we know can help others continue to move forward,
Yeah.
to have that opportunity and to turn that challenge into something that they can be so proud of, which is why I want to share quickly about what is coming because of that.
Yes, please, please.
Yeah, I have joined forces with another powerhouse military spouse that has been in the space for over 15 years and has completely continued to advocate and build and create in the space. And, her and I are coming together and we are launching a new nonprofit called Mill Street USA. And it is exactly like how you said it, being able to come onto like the main street and to be able to
Yes.
have everything that our military entrepreneurial community needs in one ecosystem. We are
Mm,
working towards that. And I am so excited because I've always said Spousely is so much more than a place to shop. We've quickly proved that it's an
right.
educational hub, it's a community, there's resources, there's a place to build and grow. But there's nothing more powerful than having Spousely as the marketplace arm to
Mhm.
other avenues that will continue supporting our community in big ways. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that because one of the pillars in Mill Street USA is advocacy, and it's to
Mm.
continue knocking on doors, to continue moving mountains, and to continue to show how incredibly amazing these business owners are.
So, what will it look like? So, I'm a veteran spouse, I have a small business, and I say, Monica, I want to be a part of this additional partnership that's really linking up to really advocate for the spouse. Where would I fit into that if I wanted to come along and say, I'm in, what do I
Yeah.
do? How does that
Yeah.
work?
Yes, so Mill Street basically it is combining already existing successful organizations and companies like Spousely, like the Rosie Network, the Mill Spouse Chamber of Commerce, Veterans
Yep.
Growing America, and other ones. And so
Mhm.
essentially what the goal is if you are a veteran-owned business, you
Yeah.
land on Mill Street, we are going to help guide you on exactly like what you are needing in your specific journey. So we
Sure.
already have all of these different pillars, but we're going to be able to say, okay, Eden, it sounds like you're at a place where maybe you need to start exploring selling in person. Well, we've got the perfect resource for you
Mhm.
there. This is what it looks like. Or maybe, hey, Eden, have you thought about selling online a little bit more? Maybe you
Right.
should come and take a look at, Spousely and this ecosystem. So essentially, it's going to be like a power plug to all of the different areas. But as
Amazing.
we know, as military connected entrepreneurs,
Yes.
there is no lack of resources. Let's face it, there
Right.
are resources all out
Right.
there. The problem is it can be very challenging knowing where to go and when, basically, like what
Right.
you need on your specific journey. So the goal is to create that true ecosystem that really kind of morphs around what you're needing
Mhm.
as that military connected entrepreneur. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
In the 3 minutes, we have less than 3 minutes left. I want to kind of highlight a couple things. In your 6 years of being on the journey with Spousely, being the brains, the heart behind it, you've been recognized by so many amazing leaders. I mean, bravo to you and your vision. One of the partners here at the show is Great American Media, Great American Pure Flix. But if you could highlight some of the other powerful partners and those who have just truly recognized you in your leadership, print, media, etc.
Yeah, I am completely humbled and honored for just all that has been accomplished, especially on a bootstrapping budget. And it all has just been earned media where I'm very proud to say, like, I mean, it's incredible to have them come knocking and saying, we love what you're building.
Yeah,
So being named on the Forbes Next 1000 list, I've been recognized on the Inc. Female Founder 200 list, Mighty 25 list as well by We Are the Mighty, named as a trailblazer in tech by Military Spouse magazine. I recently got into the Tory Burch Foundation, which is a huge, huge
huge.
honor because
Yes.
they only select 50 women to be a part of this insanely amazing community, and just being able to be a part of different communities that are also outside of the military connected
Yeah.
space has allowed me to really open the door in so many big ways, because it's helping, kind of bridge between the military
Yeah.
world and the civilian world of
Yes.
why
Yes.
why does this matter, why this community, why should we continue to amplify these voices, these businesses. So super, super grateful. I won't bore you with all of the different things, but I am just
Yes.
extremely honored with being able to have that recognition. It's just been incredible.
Well, I mean, I love as we wrap, we have about a minute left. I love how you are not just singing to the choir because the choir hears it all the time, but you are bridging those gaps with the civilian world to say, oh, wait a second. Yes, this is what the military spouse does. This is what the veteran spouse does. This is what the first responder spouse does. And
Yep.
to really raise those profiles to help civilians then pivot and say, okay, you know what? Let's make it a goal to bring on X amount of spouses in our workplace to really raise that profile, whether you're in a military community or not. In many
Yep.
ways, I feel like the military communities also need to just really push a little bit harder that boulder up the hill to really make greater efforts, knowing that these spouses that they absolutely would adore are going to leave in 3 years and maybe less than that. But having that fruitful time with them and being able to engage in their growth and also engaging in the growth of the business of wherever that would be. Final note, with this being a book show, I want to highlight the book platform that you have on Spousely, and basically all the book authors, from children's to adult profiles. Just share briefly with me how that came to be.
Yeah, so Spousely having many different categories. The book category is really exciting. I want to share about a recent collaboration between one of our authors and a artist on Spousely, and they recently just launched a new book together. It really just shows the power of community and coming together. And the book section is just something so powerful because a lot of these authors have taken the time to really create thoughtful books, whether it's for children or adults, that really helps shine light on what it's like to maybe be a military kid, what it's like to, navigate change. And just it's everything is really built around inspiration. And that is something that we are very proud to have as a section on Spousely as our authors.
Well, thank you for that. Monica Fullerton, the force, the warrior, the trailblazer behind Spousely. I'm so thankful that you were here to help us kick off Military Spouse Month and to honor our spouses. So thank you so much for being here at the All American Book Club.
Thanks so much for having me.